Good evening. Good evening. Can you guys hear me? Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Please, if you're on the call, kindly let me know if you can hear me. Good evening. Can you hear me, please? Good evening, Sandra. Please let me know if you can hear me. Hello, Sandra. Can you hear me? All right. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Lightroom session 2026 edition. I'm super excited to be here and glad that we are doing this again this year, 2026. And I'm really excited for everything that we have lined up. Thank God that it's going to be a phenomenal year. It's going to be an exponential year for every one of us, and our lives are going to experience a turnaround and a shift on every side in Jesus' name. Today, we're going to be talking about something very important that is setting the for an exponential year. And one of the reasons, the major reason why put this because year in year out, I've seen people repeat the same patterns, right? So you step into a new year, you're excited, there's ginger, there's energy, adrenaline is very high, and that's what happens. There's that adrenaline that is to achieve all their goals, to want to become different, to want to become the best version of themselves, to want to experience something new, and all of those things. I realize that adrenaline is not enough to sustain you, right? It's very important that you set the foundation. So at the beginning, everybody do something where they were calling it, was it a trend or something, where they were like putting my face in the camera till whatever, and then they just open their camera and they just start sharing content. While that is good, maybe one and that one person had a goal to gain more visibility or whatever it is. You just see that a lot of people, what they do is follow the background. So this is what is trending. This is what is happening. These are the skills that are in demand, or these are the skills that everybody is talking about that we should learn, or these are the that and so you just realize people keep jumping on every train, but they don't even know where they're going. So very important you are to be grounded, to be able to come to a point where you really know what you're doing. You really know what you're building. And if you're building something right, this is the foundation. Anybody that is building anything worthwhile must focus on the foundation of what they're building. If you want to build a majestic building, a house, for example, or a plaza or whatever it is, if you build on the wrong foundation, if you build on a faulty foundation, it will collapse. It will not, it will not stand the test of time. So that's why I decided that this topic was very setting the foundation for an exponential year. And I pray that every single person on this call would not just, join as per this is our regular, but would take something from this class that would help you to build the foundation for the life that God has called you to live this year. To really pay attention to everything that I'm going to be sharing, I want you to also share the link with your friends and invite them to join this call. It's going to be in time. And I also want you to get a note and a note and a pen, because we're going to be doing quite a number of reflections. What I'm going to be sharing will really call for you to reflect, to think, to just put certain things down. So don't take this casually. Don't be scrolling on Instagram. Okay, pay attention. It's just about 1 hour, 30 minutes, and we're done. So just give it the best of your attention. Okay, thank you so much, and welcome once again to Lightroom Session 2026 edition. And let me use this opportunity to say to you, it's going to be a blessed year for us all in Jesus' name. Let's just say a quick prayer before we start. Father, in the name of Jesus, thank you for another here to share, to learn together, and to grow. I pray that every word that comes out of my mouth, that Lord, they are not just words, but they are spiritual life. Impart life onto every hearer in the name of Jesus. That from this session there'll be clarity, there'll be direction, there'll be insight, and there'll be instructions of our lives in the direction that you have called us to. In Jesus' mighty name. Amen. All right, so let's go right into slides. So I asked a question here, and I would like for it to be very interactive, please. I can see we have a few people on the call here. Have an exponential year. When you hear the word exponential, what comes to mind, or what does exponential mean to you in person? So I'd like to see your answers in the chat box before I move to the next slide. What does exponential mean? What does it mean an exponential? If you follow me well, you know there's one thing I always say: there is no right or wrong answer. You just need to explain it in the way that it makes sense to you, in a way that, right? So that's all that is required of you. So what does it mean to have an exponential here? So I know I can see Tobi on the I can see Sandra, right? So let's go. Is that I don't want to be talking to myself. What does it mean to have an exponential year? What does it mean to have an exponential year? On this call, okay, Sandra says to basically have a year where I do all that I set out. Interesting. Thank you very much for your response, Sandra. I'm awaiting other responses. I don't want to be the only one talking here. I like my sessions to be very interactive. So Sandra says that an exponential year to her means having a year where she's able to do all that she has, meaning that, oh, she has set a goal or she has a mission for the year. And at the end of the year, she can say that the year was something that she said she was going to do. Amazing. Thank you so much for that response. I'm going to move to the next slide while I drop their responses as well. So I wrote here that an exponential year is a year you count both internally and externally because the right foundations were laid. I'll say it again. An exponential year is a year where your growth compounds both internally and externally because the right foundations were laid. So for you to say that you have experienced an exponential year, it means that you have experienced a level of growth that you have a level of growth that is not just external, but it's also internal. And when we talk about compounding growth, we're talking about something that happens over time. Because a lot of times in our generation or as young people, we like the quick fix thing where it's as though, oh, this just happened, boom, sporadically. Sometimes we say things like, this person just came out from nowhere. I always hear God kind of positions people that he announces and that he uses for that he uses to show or to prove, his mightiness in quotes, right? And sometimes maybe you've never heard about this particular musician before or this particular thought leader before, even in their corner doing their thing. And then all of a sudden, God announces them. Something happens. They probably make a video or something. And it goes boom, and everybody's talking about it. People are sharing it. A very good example, we'll say, I don't know if you all know this. So he was on Workback this year, right? And before he came on Workback this year, I've been seeing his videos here and there, just a few times and all of that. That was it. But when he came on Workback, it was like a boom effect. It was like as though every moment I'd been waiting for that one moment. And the boy had to come on stage to say, I listened to this man, he's a very solid teacher. You know what that kind of endorsement. And I'm sure there are people that probably never heard about Pastor Jalapo when he was there, when he was doing his thing, really so much about him. But he has always been there. So an exponential year is that year where your all that you have been doing over time, over the years, over the months, over the days, over the weeks, they start to show. And it's not just external, it's also internal. Because everything that you're doing, the goals that you set, the things that you're doing, has to grow you externally. Every month that I decide that I want to show up for LRM, whether it's convenient for me or not, whether two people are on the call or not, zero person is on the call or not, every time I decide that I am showing up here to teach people a new topic, something is shifting inside of me. I often tell people that beyond the benefits that people say they get, oh, every time I learn, the word is for me, I'm blessed, and that I'm grateful. But much more, I am growing, I'm becoming a better version of myself. I'm sharpening my skills, I'm sharpening my ability to, pick a topic and say, I'm going to teach on this topic for 1 hour, 30 minutes and deliver a very solid message on this topic. It's doing something in me. And I want us to begin to see a different dimension or a different. Many times we think about growth, we think about it externally. So let's say, for example, one day LRM becomes global together by the special grace of God, right? LRM becomes globally recognized, and it becomes a platform where we are having thousands of people join us, you know, talking about LRM, and it just happens in one day. People that are probably ahead of us would think, oh, LRM just came out from nowhere. This lady just came out from nowhere. She's just, she just started. But they don't know that, okay, this thing has been, somebody has been doing this thing consistently for 5 years. So I'm saying this to say that to see this conversation beyond just a year thing, right? Beyond just a year thing. It's not just 26, I am going to accomplish this. It's a thing of who am I becoming in the process? What kind of person? Who am I growing into? So an exponential year is the year where your growth compounds. It's the year when everything you've been doing makes sense. It's the year when the results to speak. So if you're going to have that kind of year, it means that there has to be something you have been doing, whether in the secrets or in the open. But there's a thing that you are doing. And it's not just what you are doing on the outside, but what you are doing internally, what you are becoming, who you are becoming, because of the right foundations that were laid. Sandra also said that the kind of year where I also do all that God showed me at the beginning of the year. Thank you so much. I'm sharing here, you need 5 solid foundations to build an exponential year. 5. This is where I want to start taking notes, right? So that you don't miss out on the things that I'm going to be sharing. Because I'm not going to share my slides with anybody. I'll come back to what to do again. So you need 5 solid foundations to build an exponential year. Number 1, purpose. And I'm going to explain it in the next slide, right? Number 2, number 3, stability. Number 4, capacity. And number 5, systems. You need 5 solid foundations to build an exponential year. If you say that 2026 is going to be an exponential year for you, you have to do 5 solid foundations. If you're paying attention and you're following me, I want you to write out the 5 solid foundations that I just mentioned now. Purpose, alignment, stability, capacity, and systems. Purpose, alignment, core, stability, capacity, and systems. These are the 5 solid foundations that you need to build an exponential year. So let's start with the first one. Purpose. I'm sure we all know what purpose is, right? Thank you very much, Rita. I'm sure we all know what purpose is. So to build or to an exponential year, you need clarity of purpose and direction. Because if you don't define your direction, the year will define it for you. And this is what happens to people. A lot of people go into the year without any clear direction of what the year is going to be, what they're going to be doing to go about the year. You just anywhere belle face, let's go. And at the beginning, if you join at the beginning, I was talking about people that just follow the you just see that somebody is doing a video, day one of me talking into my camera. You don't know why, you don't know if it's an instruction from God, you know what it is, you just carry, copy, paste, and follow. You cannot build anything solid if you do, right? You cannot build anything solid if you are following the bandwagon. So you have to be able to set on the foundation of purpose. You need direction. You need to be able to define. You may not have the full picture of where this year is going. I consciously do every year is that I name my year. Oh, this is my year of this. This is my year of that. And it's kind of like throughout the entire year. Because I know that this is what I'm focusing on. These are the pillars that I am building my year on. Not necessarily be the goal setting type, but I always like to tell people, even if you're not a full-blown goal setting, some people are not really into this whole goal set, do this, do that kind of thing. But at least have a that your year is going to follow through with. That, okay, I may not know how to set goals or have really have a full picture of what I want to achieve. But these are the pillars that I want to build my year upon, right? So without a direction, you'll be going nowhere. So there are three important questions that I want you to ask, right? Number one is, what am I, why am I building this thing? A lot of us are building stuff. The question is, why are you building what you're building? Are you guys still following? Why are you building what you're building? That's the first question. The second question is, what am I committed to? What am I actually committed to? Can you guys still hear me? Okay, thank you. So I said that there are three important questions that you need to ask. What am I building this? What are you building currently? I don't know what it is that you're building, whatever it is that you're doing, but why am I building this thing I'm building? What am I actually doing? And what matters most this year? Once you're able to answer these three questions, I promise you, even if the world is in direction, you are not moved, you are not shaken, because you know what you are doing, you know where you're going. And please, it's very important for everybody that is here on this call that I want you to build your year with a sense of focus and direction. Don't just be going everywhere. Everybody's chasing. Your priority might not necessarily be social media visibility, and it's okay. You are not left out. In about this thing called FOMO, because fear of missing out is really, really disturbing a lot of people in this generation, and that's why you see doing everything, whether it concerns them or not. There are certain things you have no business doing that you are doing. But when you're able to answer these three questions, it will give you a sense of direction. So the first question, why am I building this thing I'm building? Whether it's a vision, whether it's an idea, whatever it is, am I building this thing because I want to have something to share something in my life, that I'm also making a move, that I'm also, making progress with my life? Or am I building this thing because there is a purpose? Last year, 2025, right? I paused everything I was doing and decided that I was into professional counseling. That decision, you don't just wake up one day and decide that I'm stopping my business, something I think, to go and start a new journey with my life. There are many questions that will go through your head. Like, how do you even convince people that you are actually called to do this thing? Where do you start from? So many things, because already, like, a lot of people know. In fact, some people used to call me Mama Alina. My name became Alina in that sense, right? So it was a lot of identity to be able to move myself from that place of building my life around this particular thing, and now waking up one day to say that this is what I am focused on now. To so many people, you will look confused because, what's this girl doing? Like, today you are doing business, tomorrow now you're saying you're a counselor. Why? I knew that my why was built on the foundation of purpose. There was a direction that I was going through. Follow through with. And because I was able to build on a foundation of purpose and direction, even though I did not have the full picture, everything started to make sense, but it did not make sense at the beginning. Somebody else can see what I have done and say, oh my God, see Michelle, she just transformed seamlessly It is so inspiring. I am inspired. Oh, I think I want to be a professional counselor as well. Let's go and took. And then you go and take it. And then you may be asking yourself questions that, like, what am I even doing here in the first? So it's very important that you ask yourself, why am I doing what I'm doing? We're in a generation where we are always inspired. You see somebody doing something, you are inspired. And it's beautiful because, I mean, inspiration is such a gift. There are many things that I've been able to do because and what showed me a possibility that, oh, this thing is very possible, right? So inspiration is beautiful enough for you to be inspired by what somebody else is doing and decide that you want to tailor your life in that direction. If you this because this thing is also in alignment with something that God has told me before, or is also in alignment with what I believe God is calling me into, that's beautiful. But that, oh, because something is working for somebody and it makes sense for them, maybe it will work for me too. Let me go and do it. Oh, people are masters now, do my masters, and then you go collect form, you do your masters, and then you graduate. When you are done, you feel empty because what you are doing is not in alignment with purpose. So always ask yourself why question. People that are my mentees, my friends, family members, people close to me, something. When you tell me, Michelle, I want to do something. Oh, Michelle, I want to marry this person. I will ask you one question. Why? I always do that. I want to do this. I want to start a business. Why? I want to get married this year. Why? I want to go back to school. Why? Why am I doing? When you're able to answer that question, it gives you a sense of direction. The second question is, what am I actually committed to? Committed to? And you need to sit down and really ask yourself this. What am I committed to? Am I just doing everything and anything that appeals to me? Or is there something that I'm investing my life, putting my energy into building right now? So what am I committed to? And the third question, what matters most to me this year? I believe it comes with something significant that God wants us to pay attention to. So last year, there was something that God wanted me to focus, which is what I put my entire energy, my entire life, and invested my money, my time, my into that. When 2026 came, it came with a whole new what will I call it? Something different. And so now my focus, even though I am still building what I'm building, the core, what matters most to me this year is very different. So while some people might be building and pursuing certain things, for me, something else that matters more to me. And that's what my focus and attention is going into. Once you're able to answer these three questions, and they are buying cars, and they are doing whatever it is that they are doing, and they are hosting conferences, and they are writing books, and they are whatever it is that they are doing, it will not move you because you know what you're doing, you know where you're going, you have a sense of direction, right? So the okay, sorry. The second slide, the second foundation is alignment with. So I wrote here that you would only experience exponential growth when what you are doing is aligned with who you are. So ask yourself four questions again. I hope you guys are writing this thing I'm saying. Please, oh. You have to ask yourself four questions. Number one, what are my values? What are my values as a person? Have you been able to clearly define what your values are? What are my values? Number two, what conviction is what I'm doing? What conviction is backing what I am doing? Why am I this thing I'm doing is what I am supposed to do? That this endeavor, this venture that I'm going into is something that I am supposed to. Again, close to me, maybe you're a mentee or you're a friend or you are whatever that is close to me, and you tell me, Michelle, I want to do something. I always, what's your conviction? What is God saying about it? Do you have a scripture that backs up what you are doing? Because conviction is so that people can lay down their lives because of a conviction. And this is why somebody can say that they will kill you, they will bomb themselves, bomb an entire plane or an entire space of something that they believe so strongly. So convictions are powerful. And so you need to be able to know, what are your own convictions as a person? Everybody believes so many things. What do you believe in? What is backing you up? What is backing your decisions? What is backing your actions? What is backing what you say and the things that you do as a person? So you need to ask yourself these questions, right? And then the third one, what are my strengths? This is so important. What are my core strengths? Everybody has what they call their core strengths. I think some days ago on Instagram, my friend Lady K, she posted something about investing in your advantage, right? And that was a very powerful, thing, because a lot of us have amazing advantages, strengths, abilities, and capacities that we don't tap into. And that's why you feel like other people are better than you or other people are doing more, because you don't even pay attention to these things. This is where self-awareness comes in. You should be able to get to a point where you are able to know this. I may not be able to do any other thing, but you see, when it comes to talking and teaching people and bringing people to a place of clarity, this is something I do. That is a core strength for me as a person. For you, it may be different. So what is your core strength? What is that thing that makes you you, that every other person may not be able to do it, but you can do it? You need to pay attention to it, and you need to tap into it. And by tapping into it, it means you have to maximize it. Every day I am building on my ability to speak and my ability to teach by showing up here, whether I'm encouraged to or not. What am I doing? I am building my core strength. I am tapping into my ability as a person. And the last one here, I said, what season of life are you in? I don't know if you guys can see this thing. What season of life are you in? Let me know if you're still following. I mean, sorry, where is it? Oh, Jesus. What season of life am I currently in? Please, if you are still following, let me see your chats in the chat box. Just say I'm following. Thank you very much. What season of life am I in? Am I in the season of planting? Am I in the season of building? Am I in the season where God is saying that, you know what, I want you to build capacity. I want you to gather strength. Am I in the season of hiding? Am I in the season where God is saying to me, eat is far? Some of you, where you are going to is very, 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 very far. And God needs you to sit and do nothing but just eat. When I say eat, I don't mean physical food. Whatever it means to you, it is. So what season am I currently in? When you're able to understand what you're seasoning, and I want to recommend that you guys get my book. What's that book called? Jesus Christ. It's a book. Launchpad. I talked about the different seasons in a man's life. So you can get access to that book, get it and read it. You much into it. But ask yourself, what season am I currently in? Once you're able to define the season of your life, it's going to help you. I feel like a lot of times the reason why people are comparing their lives with other people, comparing their goals, comparing their results, comparing so many things, is because they don't have an understanding of this. You don't know the season that you're in. Some people are in their harvest season. You are in your planting season. Some people are in their showing up season. You are in the season to stay hidden. If you don't understand that this is the season that I'm currently in, you'll be looking at the person in showing up season, and you too, you want to show up too. And you'll be frustrated because every of your attempts to show up. So ask yourself this question, right? I hope you guys are writing these things down. Oh. So let's go to the next slide. The third foundation that is stability, and this is mental and emotional, right? As a therapist, if I don't talk about it, what am I saying? Stability to stay grounded, to cope regardless of the situation, and to not collapse under pressure. I'll say it again. To stay grounded, to cope regardless of the situation, and to not collapse under pressure. Anybody that is building anything worthwhile, appointments and setbacks that will come with it. Every time we go into a new year, we come into a new year, right? I'm excited. This is my year. It's my year of breakthrough. It's my year of this. It's my year of that. It's my year of global endorsement. Those things, which is beautiful. But for many people, nothing really prepares you for the gbas that the year will bring. And every year has gbas, whether no matter, even if you do 1,000 days fasting for the new year, the truth is that one thing you prepare for is the gbas that every year will come with. It must surely come with something, right? But you are to stay grounded, to learn how to cope regardless of the situation, to learn how not to fold under pressure. See, this is a skill to learn in life. Your ability to adapt to situation, to build mental and emotional stability. If you are building anything, trust me, there will be disappointments, there will be setbacks. Things will not go the way you want them to go. You will your goals, and it will not go in the direction, it might not go in the direction that you have set it. And that is life for you. You need to get to a point. As you are preparing for the year, prepare for the things that might not go well. Prepare your mind that some things that I have set out to do, a matter of God forbid, though. I'm a believer and I believe in faith. I believe in positive confession. But I also know that in life, some things do not just go the way we want them to go. The Bible says something that if you faint in the day of adversity, your strength is small. A lot of people faint. They've not learned how to build stability. They've not learned how to build that mental and emotional fortitude to be able to withstand whatever storms come away. Get to that point. Your mental stability, time you'll be crying. I have one mantra in life. When you finish crying, clean your eyes and keep it moving. And that's the way I will feel every emotion. I'm not going to numb it. I'm going to stay there, feel everything that I'm feeling, cry and do everything. When I'm done with the tears, I'm going to stand up, clean my eyes, and move. Sit in a situation for so long, crying and sulking and feeling like, oh my God, why me? This world is not fair. I'm just at things are not going well for me. Oh, the money, blah blah blah. I was saving money for this business that I've planned to do, and I got scammed of the money. Sorry that happened to you. But now that the money that you wanted to use to start your business or to start whatever it is that you wanted to do has been taken away from you. Action. Are you going to find a new strategy or something that would to again? Or you're going to use that as an excuse and say, this year did not go well for me. I really wanted to start a business this year, but I got scammed. I started the business. You must learn what they call resilience as a person. That when you fall, you are able to pick yourself back up, This is the secret to people who keep bouncing back regardless of situation. Sometimes you see people and you admire their grit, you admire the kind of strength that they as individuals. And you're like, why does this person have so much strength? Why does this person have so much they just have grace? You know how things like, oh, this person just has grace. No, nobody is born with a special ability to be strong. Oh, sometimes life can be very annoying and might not go the way you want them to go. But some people have trained their mind to never see themselves as a victim in life, and to that, oh, things that are happening against them. So for every time that things don't go the way I want them to go, I ask myself, what am I supposed to learn from this? And what is this thing teaching me? Something good is going to come out of this. I always make sure that something good comes out of every situation. That's why it looks like, oh, this person just keeps overcoming. Whatever life throws at her, she just has a way of overcoming it and bouncing back. So you get to a point in your life where you are stable, you are not shaky. Things cannot just be doing you anyhow. And once you get to that point, even Satan to the enemy, because you know that, see, this one, just leave her alone. No matter what we do to her, she will never fold. She just, I don't know how she does it, but she back. So the question, three questions again. How do you handle pressure as a person? When pressure comes your way, how do you handle? Do you start fidgeting? Do you start crying? Do you start saying, oh, Jesus Christ, oh, what am I going to do? Blah, blah, blah. Or do you find a way around your situation? One of the things that running a business taught me is adaptability. Your ability to adapt any situation. And that skill, nobody can take it away from me. The ability to adapt. There's nothing that will happen in this life. I will find a solution to it. But because I applied myself to something, I was able to learn and build capacity in the process. So I can handle pressure. I'm very emotional, so I will always cry. That one is sure. But you see, when I'm done crying, I am already re-strategizing on how to. Someone looks at me like, what kind of human being is this person? Like, I can literally be crying right now, like, oh my God, why did this happen? Blah, 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 blah. And then the next, I don't move on. Like, I'm already thinking of the way forward. And I learned that when I was actively building, when I was actively, building from the beginning, I had to learn how to be adapt, like how to adapt. Because sometimes, especially when I was doing the t-shirt business, if you go to the markets, anybody that has done t-shirt business before can relate to this thing I'm saying. You can have an order now, and the client has told you, this is what I want, this is the color I want, this is the size of shirt I want, blah 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 blah. And then you've collected money, they've paid you, it's time for you to go and work on the other. And then you go to the markets and then you see another thing. That's when the whatever has happened, things have what you've already built your plan that by the time I go to this market, I'm going to do this, I'm going to get this thing done. And then you get to the market and everything has changed. Price have changed, quality has changed, is no longer available. The vendor that you always use just tells you that they've closed down their business. You have to think of it. Before I would go to a customer and tell the customer that this product, I don't know, I'm not able to do it, well, can I refund you? You know that I tried 999 options and did not work out. And it's not possible because in doing 999 options, so that was where I learned how to be a problem solver. Like, no matter what it is, you'll find a way to solve that problem. So that's why now I just cannot relate, because I'm like, did you try other options? Did you find other ways of getting this thing? And this is very important. We're talking about building an exponential here. Don't be the person that gives up easily. Oh, it did not work, and let's move on. No. Do you handle pressure? How do you handle situations that might not seem appealing to you? do you in an office or in an environment where the boss is just very annoying, but you need to keep it moving? Will you just one day and after 1 month and say, oh, the boss is just too toxic, the environment is too toxic for me, I cannot just cope, I just need to leave? That's what a lot of people do. You need to get to a point of stability as a person where you're able to stay grounded, stay grounded. Stop living a life on excuses. Make excuses. Try other ways of getting this thing done. So, do you abandon your goals when things get tough? That's one goal you have to pause. So, do you understand? There is a place for that. There are some things that you know that for now, I do not have the resources, the capacity, and the bandwidth to continue to build this thing. I will be lying to myself if I continue to do this thing. That's understandable. But there are some times that because it's already hard, it's already difficult. I've tried, I'm tired. No, there's sometimes that you need to stay. You need to stay. Hitting a surface. This is a surface, and you're trying to get through into it. You cannot just hit it once and think that it's going to go through. Sometimes you have to keep hitting, hitting, and hitting, and hitting, and hitting, and hitting until you see a crack, until you're able to achieve what you want to do. And this is where you build that, staying power, that ability to stay. It's not easy emotionally and mentally to keep hitting something consistently at the same point and nothing is happening. Trust me, it's hard. But when you learn how to see, there are some things that God does to you when it takes you through seasons. And I really hope that people listening to me on this call, you are not chasing shadows. You are not trying to just chase everything that is shining, but you are staying committed and building yourself from inside. If you stay in the process that God is taking you through, I promise you, the kind of person that you will become, you will be amazed at the version, right? So don't just abandon things because, oh, I'm already tired. I'm already bored with this thing. Do you think that I'm not bored? You think it's not boring? Like every time I'm like, oh Jesus Christ. Another month now, next month I have to think of what topic am I going to teach? Like, to keep doing something every year, every month for 5 years. Do you think you will not get to a point where you are bored and you're tired and you feel like? But if every time you get bored with something, you drop it, you see this one, you start it, and then you learn how to stay with something. Learn how to stay through with something, follow through with something, even when it's no longer interesting to you. In your relationship with people, your relationship with your partner. Oh, my partner, I'm already bored with this person. I want a new relationship. Keep chasing that habit of always going for shiny things. They call it shiny object syndrome. You are going for this goal. Oh, this goal, it looks exciting to you. It's 3 months. After 3 months, you drop it. You find the next thing. You pick it up. You can't build anything solid that way. So you have to learn how to do something regardless of how you feel, regardless of how exciting it is, regardless of whatever it is, how tough or difficult it seems. Stay with it, right? And then the third thing is, how do you stay regulated as a person? This is where your mental and emotional wellness comes into play. And talk about how do you stay regulated? Do you have systems where you have quarterly retreats or or whatever that works for you? I don't know. But how do you stay regulated as a person? For some people, it could be reading a book, listening. For me, I love music. Music helps me to just be calm. It helps me to just get into that atmosphere where I'm just, at peace. Find my own rhythm. You have to find yours. Otherwise, many things will frustrate you in this life and you'll be tired. So it's very, very important. Without stability leads towards sabotage. I stayed too long on this. Let's go to the next one. Number 4 is capacity. Capacity is the ability to accommodate and praying for. because growth has a way of exposing the gaps in our lives. So if you want to experience exponential growth, you have to not for it. So if you want to experience exponential growth, build capacity. And capacity is basically to and carry that thing that you're praying for. So a lot of us are praying for things, a godly relationship, for example, whatever it is, opportunities. The question is, do you have the capacity to accommodate that level of recognition when it comes? So if they call you today now from the United Nations and say, oh, we've seen the work that you are doing and we want you to at the UN, ask yourself, do I have the capacity to carry this thing? Sit down and really reflect and evaluate. So these are the 5 major areas to build capacity in. Number 1, skill. What kind of skills do I need to develop for the thing that I am praying for or I'm asking for? So if you want to become the best, maybe your goal this year is, maybe for me, is to become the best at what I do as a professional counselor, as a therapist. I'm asking myself, what knowledge I need to, what skills do I still need to take on? It's not enough that I have a certification. There are still skills, there are still knowledge that I still need to develop. Right? The next one is discipline. You need the discipline to be able to build that you want, that you want. And we cannot even overemphasize this enough. And discipline is learning how to do things when I've talked about it so much in the last slide. So let me not even go too much on it. But you need to learn how to, regardless of how I feel, regardless of whether it's appealing to me or not, whether it is appealing to me or not, I'm going to do what I need to do. A lot of people, a lot of young people are not disciplined with their goals. So you see goals fizzles away, and then you just drop it. There is no discipline to actually follow through. I like when I see a person when and they actually do it, whether it is convenient or not. These are things that will stand you out. This thing I'm sharing is beyond 2026. You can apply it even in 2027, 2028, 2030. Take you to where you need to get to in life. Your skills. What kind of skills do you need to develop as a person? Discipline. What areas of your life do you need to develop in? Financial intelligence. This is very important, right? What knowledge do you need to develop when it comes to life? Trust me, you need money. Oh, you need money. Money is important. So you have to be able to get to that point as well. And you are not too young or too old to be able to get to that, to that point. If you need to pay courses, financial related courses, pay for it. If you need to get a coach, a financial coach, get that coach. There's something that you want. For example, now, I'm planning for the 7th edition of Creators Haven in, I think, April or May. I'm looking at the budget. It's money. It is money. So you see, these things are very important. Time management skills, your time management skills. There are some places that there are some places that you get to in life. If you've not learned how to manage your time, it's going to affect every single thing. Last one, spiritual and mental capacity. Your spiritual capacity, your prayer power, your ability to stay in presence, all of these things, you need to build it. These are the things that you need to build for where God is taking you to, for the kind of life that you want in year 2026. It's so important. And then the 5th foundation is systems, right? Systems. Having growth to become sustainable and replicable. You can't build on motivation alone. You need the right systems and structures in place. I always and that's Fuki Akindele. Year in, year out, we see that she releases a movie. She doesn't do too much. She's not chasing things Our goal is just that a December movie. Year in, year out, this woman keeps hitting billions. Do you think it's by luck? It just happened. There are systems that you might not know. What people are seeing is dancing, all of those things. They don't understand. There are systems and structures that she has put in place that has made the result to sustainable or replicable. I always say something that I do not really care so much about somebody that is able to achieve success once. Or you see, for anybody that has been able to achieve something once and do it again, 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 and again. I tell you that it is not accidental, because anybody can stumble into results. You can do one video now and go viral. But if you don't have what it takes to sustain that relevance, you will fizzle away. Do you know, you can think of people that they were very popular at a certain point, but now we're not hearing about them again. Of course, I understand the concept of times and seasons, but I also know that there is a secret that makes a man to become relevant in season and out of season. And it is not just random. There are structures and there are systems that those people put in place that makes their growth to be sustainable and to be easy to go up, but it is more, it takes more to really stay up there. So if you want to have an exponential year, you need to automate discipline. Automate discipline. Track and measure your progress. Anything that you don't track, anything that you don't measure, you will not be able to sustain. You will not even be able to even know, because you're not able to track and measure it. Track your habits as a person. Your habits, you fall, Abi, as they say, you don't rise to the level of your growth. You fall to the level of your systems and your habits. So track your habits. Are they thing will not help me where I'm going to in life? Because it's not just about being excited about, where you are going to in 20. I have the habits that can sustain me for where I'm going to. And then create accountability structures. Accountability is very important, and there are diverse that you do that. Let's move very quickly. So now I'm going to be talking about how to about building momentum, because I believe that to have an exponential year, or to build the right foundation for an exponential year, you need to build momentum. Right? You have to do it gradually. When you are building a house, it takes months or years for somebody to build, to eventually finish up a building. So brick by brick, block by block, it is being built consistently until you see that full-blown house. So what many people see is, oh my goodness, this house is so beautiful. But when you see the house in its building stage, you are like, what? This house can never be this house. If you get what I'm trying to say. So it creates a compounding effect. And I've talked so much about the importance of consistency, so I'm not going to overemphasize here. But then consistency creates a compounding effect. People that experience growth, they don't just see it suddenly, they build it over a period of time. You admire, the people you look up to, the people that you see their result and you want to have it. It did not just happen for them. And I've used an example of the people that comes out and they just boom. And you're like, oh my God, this person is out there. They did not just get out there, they've been building. They build and becomes a global platform, and thousands of people are here. It did not just start the day it became a global platform. There have been years of consistency. And see, if you keep doing something, I'm telling you, it doesn't go unrewarded. I know I'm not now earthly. These are principles in life. If you keep watching something, it would bring forth harvests. I be say, you sow a seed and you keep watching that seed, it will bring forth harvests. So there is always a compounding effect for everything that you do, both negative you are positively, you will see it will create a compounding effect. And if you are negatively building as well, it will also create a compounding effect. So you have to be intentional about whatever it is that you are building, whatever it is that you are consistent with. You can't experience growth if and this is where a lot of people are having challenges because you start something today, you drop it. Start another thing, you drop it. You will not have anything, you will not have anything exponential that way. So, like the analogy I used, you are trying to get through this phone. If you hit it once, you're not going to get it. What some people do, they hit. Oh my, this thing is not working. I beg, let me drop it. But if you really, really want to get the result that you're, you will keep hitting and hitting and hitting and hitting and hitting and hitting and hitting. One day it's going to have a crack and you're going to pull through with it. Is that wow, she was able to pull through with this thing. They don't see that every day she wakes up in the morning, she hits it. Tomorrow she wakes up, she hits it. Next, it's a compounding effect. So I wrote here, every time you have small but consistent wins. Now that I've come here, shown up here to teach on a topic, it has built my confidence. Trust me, you cannot take away the skills that have been built in me by showing up here every month. You can never take it away from me. If you like, don't come. Who I am becoming in the process, you cannot take that away from me. I am building capacity. I am building skill, building ability. I am building my confidence as a person. You cannot take these things away from me, right? It also increases discipline and staying power, and then it rewires your mind to see possibilities. Before now, maybe teach on a topic, whether virtually or physically, I'll start to fidget because I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what to say. I'll start talking. I'll be like, you will hear me say like 50 times in one statement or in one sentence. But over the years of doing this thing consistently, I've sharpened my skill and I've also been able to rewire my mind to see possibilities. So I can tell myself that, Michelle, you can do this. It's possible for you to do this. So if one day you are called to a bigger platform, this is not something new. You might shake a little bit bigger, but it doesn't take away the fact that this is something that you can do, right? So this is how you build momentum. You build momentum through consistency. Consistency creates a compounding effect. So how do you build momentum? Number one, start small. People make is that you want to build a house, you are so focused on what the entire building looks like. It is start small, right? You can have a vision and the vision is so grand in your mind and you feel, but you might not have the resources, you might not have everything that it takes to build that vision. Start with the smallest resources or whatever it is that's available at your disposal and make do with this. That's how you build momentum. And the beautiful thing about starting is that when you stay consistent with what you are doing, eventually, little by little, people start to see that, oh, this person is doing something. Get, a loud ovation from people. People might not always clap for you. And this is one thing that you have to learn when you are building anything. When you are building, because your building has not yet become fully developed, some people might just pass by it. Do you know how many uncompleted buildings every single day? Because it looks abandoned, it doesn't look appealing, it doesn't look beautiful. It's just there, scattered. You see cement everywhere, blocks everywhere. It doesn't look good. But then give it 5 months, 6 months, you see this beautiful complex that has been built, and you're like, oh my God, this is so. And then you stop, you take a picture, you even want to show people that, oh, I came to this place. But at the beginning, it might not always look like that. So you have to get to and you're starting small, be one of your biggest encouragers. Encourage yourself, motivate yourself. Always depend on external motivation. You can't always depend that, oh, people are going to motivate me, people are going to support what I do, people are going to clap for me. You might not always get that. And if you don't get that, you might be discouraged as a person. But you just start small and stay consistent and track every of your progress. Celebrate your small wins. So every time you make a progress, track it. Because if you don't track your progress, you will think that nothing is happening in your life. You build it with a block. Tomorrow you build 5 blocks. It might not have been 1 block to 5 blocks. Track that progress so that you know that you are moving. And then celebrate it too. Oh, yesterday we are that's something worth celebrating. Anybody that is close to me knows that I do this a lot. I celebrate myself. I celebrate my wins. I love up on myself. I'm not waiting for anybody to do that for me. Any other thing that anybody does is an addition. You clap for me is an addition. I am not moved by that. Of course, there are times I don't encourage you, dependent on somebody to come and tell me that, Michelle, you are doing well. I know I am doing well. I don't need you to tell me. If you tell me, thank you. I really appreciate my heart. Dependent on you to tell me or to validate the fact that I am doing well before I know to myself that I'm doing well. I do once I celebrate my wins. I tell myself, Michelle, I'm so proud of you for pushing through, for motivating yourself, regardless of how you feel. Those things you have to do it so that you feel encouraged. This is how you build momentum. Rhoda says, I keep ignoring the nudge to try. From today, you become intentional about that. It's very, very important because whatever you don't track, you are not able to measure. So that you're able to measure how far you come and how far you grow. Right? So I wrote here, exponential growth is not microwave growth. So don't be in a hurry to achieve something or do things just because you want to have something to show that you are also building. Deal with fear of missing out, fear of being behind, and focus on building solidly. Exponential growth is not microwave growth. Anybody that is building anything worthwhile, it does not happen. Look at people that come out suddenly, they will go suddenly. I promise you. Anybody that comes out suddenly, so you have to get to a point where you tell yourself that, see, I'm not in a hurry, especially as young generation. Honestly, it's so sad that social media has kind of like really affected our view of life, our view of how we see. So you see young people in their 20s buying cars, some building houses, getting married and doing things, which is good. But a young person in your 20s and you don't yet have a car, there is absolutely nothing wrong with you. Right? There is absolutely nothing wrong with you. So to get want me to share my style, you pay. So you need to get to a point where you are not in a hurry to achieve. And sometimes you have to, sometimes, to be honest, it's not easy because, like I said, we're in a generation of everybody literally has to show that they are moving in life, they are doing something significant, so there is a temptation to also want to achieve something just so that you can show that you're achieving something or that you are building something. Like I said, there are different seasons in life. If you read my book, why do I keep forgetting the title? Accelerate Launchpad. I talked about there are different seasons in life. There are different seasons. I don't want to go into it. Buy the book and read it, and then you understand. So there are different seasons in life. I don't have anything to show, and it's okay as long as you know that you are not idle and you're not wasting your time and you're not lazy. Stay there and keep building. Do not allow fear of missing out. And fear of missing out, I think one day I'm going to do a teaching on it, right? because it's something a lot of young people in this generation, that fear of missing out. What are you afraid of missing? The only thing that you are to be afraid of missing out on is the agenda of God for your life. Any other thing is not your business. Are you listening? So you see all this formal, deal with it. The only thing you should be afraid of missing out on is God's agenda for your life. You should be afraid of is that, hey God, I hope I'm not going to miss out on God's purpose for my life, God's will, God's timeline for my own life. That is the only thing you should be afraid of missing out on. But that thing, please do not allow yourself to be driven by those things, because you can be distracted in the process. And then there's the fear of being left behind. Sometimes those things are wounds that needs to be dealt with, and sometimes and that's why therapy is important, because you now get to a point, why am I afraid of being behind? You realize that sometimes there are experiences you had, maybe in your childhood, maybe in your environment, that caused a wound in your soul, that has made you to become an adult that is consistently under that pressure of, I have to belong, I have to belong, I have to belong. Yesterday I posted something about social climbers and all of those things. What does it mean to be I was just curious, like, what does it mean, social climbers? What does it mean? So you see that people, once there's a happening event, there's a happening place, happening people, they just want to latch themselves to them, latch themselves. This person is the one that is happening now. Let's go and meet them, connect with them. Oh, this event is what is happening. You just want to connect. Why are people like that? They are effect of soul wounds that people don't even know that they are dealing with. So your healing journey is an important part for your an important foundation you must build to experience exponential growth. You're healing very seriously this year. Please, I beg you in the name of God. And I'm not saying this because I'm a therapist or anything. It's an advice I would give anybody, my family members. I've told my husband, must also go for counseling. All of us will go for counseling. It must become something that it's not, you don't have to have trauma. You know that you need to go through these things, because what it does is that it exposes patterns that you don't know exist in your life. It exposes it to you, that why am I under pressure so much? I see somebody post their achievements on social media. It makes me feel less of myself. Why am I feeling that? Why does somebody's success trigger me as a person? These are things that we don't really talk about, but they are things that we need to deal with, because if you don't deal with it, it will affect who we are becoming in the process. And that's why people get distracted. They are following every other person's journey, and that's their own, not secure in their own identity. So your healing journey is also an important part if you want to experience exponential and beyond. Right? So start slow, grow steadily. In a world that is in a hurry, heading to nowhere, your best advantage will be your ability to stay, build, and grow your roots deeply. Please grow your roots deeply, because when the storm to rage and the wind starts to blow, the tree that will keep standing is the tree that has its roots deeply in your roots. And see, life has a way of revealing what you are made of. There is something called defining moments in life, through what we call that thing, defining moments. Every single one of you listening to me here, you will experience defining moments in your life, and those defining moments will reveal who you are, what you are building, and what substance you are made up of. That's why the Bible says, if you faint in the day of strength is small. Why did you faint in the day of adversity? Because you were not building capacity when you were supposed to build capacity. You were not investing in things you were supposed to invest in when you should have. You know, there's this analogy in the Bible where Joseph was helping, and Pharaoh, was it Potiphar? I can't remember, had a dream. 7 large cows, 7 thin cows. The 7 large cows swallowed the 7 thin cows for 7 whatever. I can't remember how it went. But the interpretation of that dream was that there was going to be a season where there'll be the abundance. People will have so much to eat for 7 years. And there'll be another season for another 7 years. People will be hungry, they'll be impoverished, they would have nothing. And he gave them the wisdom for you, for to sustain a life. I mean, for us to be able to live sustainably in the 7 years of famine, we need to 7 years of plenty. Store things up in the storehouse. Let's keep, let's save, let's build intentionally. So when the 7 years of famine comes, it will not swallow us up. That was the wisdom of God that preserved that generation. And I believe that that is the wisdom that we need in our lives. Because everybody will go through seasons. There are seasons where, see, God help me, Jesus Christ. I'm already entering into the prophetic now. Hey, God, I have to spend so much time here, but please pay attention to what I'm saying. Everyone will go through seasons where it's too abundant. And there will also be a season where it looks as though there is not enough. But there are people, the rest of the season, they flourish. Have you ever met people like that? That it looks as if this person does not suffer in life. Like, no matter what, even people are talking about, lack, people are talking about economy, Tinubu, dollar, it does not concern them. Why is that? There is a wisdom that preserves. There is a kind of wisdom that you need that will preserve season and out of season. And you need to get to that point where you are building, you are grounded. You cannot be distracted by whatever. So while in Egypt, by wisdom, by supernatural wisdom, they were preserving everything that they had. So much that they were in a season of famine. And because other people were not privy to that level of wisdom, they were coming over to Egypt. And that's how in a foreign land. Because they did not have that wisdom to preserve the things that they had. I think that God is speaking to somebody here. I really don't know, because this has deviated from what I was talking about now. But I feel like somebody needs to hear this right now. You need wisdom to preserve, because a time is coming where the resources that you have, the opportunities that you have now, you might not have access to them. But what you're able to do with what you have now is what will sustain you for the time that it. Please, this thing I'm saying, I beg you, don't take it lightly. I'm talking about growth. I don't know how I end season of preservation and season of, but I pray that God will interpret it to you in the best way possible, right? So let me just move quickly. 3 things. Depth before skill. Build depth. Build your depth. Build your depth. Don't just be shallow. Don't be deeply rooted in anything you're doing. Be deeply rooted. 2, gain mastery before you start to expand. A lot of people want to expand. They want to grow. You want to all over the world. If you don't have depth, if you have not gained mastery, you will just fizzle away. So build, think of how to scale, how to go global. All of those things will happen when life sees that the capacity comes. The third is sustainability before visibility. There are some of you that the visibility you are looking for will crush you, will destroy you. It will finish you. So it is in the wisdom of God to preserve you so that you will not finish before your time. Right? So you have sustainability. Let's move quickly. In conclusion, exponential growth is not accidental. When you see experience exponential growth in their life, in their year, it's not an accidental thing. It is very, very intentional. So please don't chase shadows. Put the year on the right foundation. And we've talked about the 5 core foundations to build your year on. I hope you paid attention to it. Maybe you screenshotted or you wrote it down, and then you just go back to it. You can always come back to this video. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to share my slide. But this is going to be saved, and you can rewatch, and you can also share, and do with the information is required. So now we have a reflection exercise. Please screenshot it and try to do it beyond now. We may not be able to take most of it here. It's for your personal reflection, actually. So the first thing, either write it down or take a screenshot of it. The first thing is, what foundation is currently weak in my life? So I want you to evaluate your life based on everything we talked about. There are areas of my life that I know that I need to improve on this thing. This area of my life is weak. If the storm should come like this, it's going to push me away. So write it down. What foundation is currently weak in my life? Number two, what areas of my life have I been rushing? And we all know, if you want to rush into marriage, you want to rush into this, you want to rush into business, you want to rush into whatever. What areas of your life has God been saying, I want you to pause and write it down. Number three, what can I slow down to build properly intention this season? There are some seasons that requires you to pause or to slow down on certain things so that you can focus on something else. About how I needed to pause my business to focus on the direction that God was taking me to. And that was intentional on my part. So to the world, it might not have, why did you just stop your business? Why did you just stop doing this all of a sudden? But I knew that for what the next level of my life required, be doing everything at once. So I needed to slow something down so that I can build properly on something else. And the season will come, and where I'll be able to handle all of these things effectively without crushing or fainting in that sense. To that point. But till now, you can slow down to build properly. So ask yourself, what can I slow down to build properly? You're probably doing this, you're doing that, you're doing maybe this business and other things, ministry and stuff like that. But you know that of my life, graduating top of my class or graduating with a good grade is very important. Can I slow down on other things to so that I can build properly and have good grades? When I am done and I've graduated, I can come back and build an. And then the last one, what 3 systems am I going to be implementing every month? What systems am I going to be implementing every month? So these are the 4 reflections that I want us to take note of. I'd like you to do something and share your high points, your learnings at LRM today. And I'm going to reshare. Just let me know what were the things you learned, what are the things you gained, how was it for you? I really love to get your feedback. Don't just leave this call and be going. People used to do that in a lot. Help me. So thank you so much. I don't know if there are questions here before we end the call. We're supposed to end by what time? We're supposed to end by. So let's. Are there questions? Are there questions? Are there questions? If there are questions, let me know. You can drop it. If there are no questions, about Sandra says you talked about identifying our strengths and building it. How can I do that? Okay, thank you very much for that question. What you need to do is you get your journal or you get your paper, whatever. This kind of thing requires a lot of personal reflection and personal evaluation. So you have to sit with yourself quietly and think, what are the things that comes naturally to me as a person? What are the things that I'm best at? Things that I can do effortlessly without trying. These are the areas of my strength. And sometimes it could be things that consistently said to you. For example, before I knew that I like when people say that, oh, every time I speak to you, I was able to gain clarity. I would hear that consistently. So I realized, oh, this is a strength. It's not just the ability to speak. Everybody talk. It's not just that I can talk, it's that when I talk, I'm able to bring people from confusion to clarity. That is a strength. So feedback that people have given to you, oh, you're a very creative person, you have the ability to create something out of nothing. That's a strength that you have. You write it down. So your ability, your strength could be creativity, it could be the ability to put together, make people feel warm, whatever it is. Just pay attention to patterns in your life, pay attention to the things that comes naturally to you, pay attention to the things that people say to you, that, oh, this, you can do this thing so well. You can even ask your friends and your family, that in a while I send feedback, what they call it, evaluation form to people. I think that in my book, Accelerate, the first, I think something like that there, a feedback, whatever. So you can do that, send it to your friends and say, oh, I'm just trying to get awareness and reflection. I want to know what my strengths are. What are the things that you see me do that you feel like, oh, I'm so expert at? Let them list it out to you. Let them tell you, your friends, your family members, your acquaintances, people around you. Now, once you are able to identify what your strengths are, and you build on it. So, for example, people said to me personally that they felt safe, they felt seen, they could be vulnerable, even the things that they felt like they could never share with anybody. They just found it easy to talk to me about. This is not something that is everywhere. It's not something that everybody can do. It's not something that happens to everybody. The unique ability I have. How do I own this ability and this skill? I went to learn professional counseling because if someone, what do I tell them? How do I, like, one of the major reasons why I went for professional counseling was because people started bringing issues that felt bigger than me. And I felt at that point, I felt like there was a knowledge gap I needed to fill. Like if somebody come and tell me that something is wrong with their marriage, I didn't know them. Like, oh, now you've poured your heart to me, I've listened to you, but I knew that I needed to be equipped enough to be able to this right there. So if you come and tell me your marital issues now, I cannot just say, go and divorce your husband. No, I needed to have the right way of handling issues like that. That's my own way of what owning and building on that skill or that strength that I have discovered as. So that you do when you've been able to identify what your strengths are, then you now, pick out what are the things that I can do to build on it. Do I need to learn? Do I need to sharpen it more by doing it? So for example, I think that one thing I know that you know how to do very well is, and you've been able to maximize that skill. But out of that, graphics design is a creative ability that you now need to tap into. So for you cannot say, oh, how can I explore my creativity beyond graphic designing? What other aspects of me or what other aspect side of me can I channel this level of creativity? You just start to research what other things appeals to me. Should I explore motion graphics? Should I explore fashion illustration? Whatever it is, what appeals to me as a person? How can I develop myself as a creative? So those are the ways you can identify your strength and build on it. I hope I answered your question. Then the second question says, you talked about slowly and with depth. How do I know if I'm building slowly or not? Are there practical pointers that can help me track that? How do you know that you're building slowly? Number one, you know that you are not under pressure, right? So, but what is how do I put it in the best way possible? building and you are under pressure. Let me give you an example. For example, you are starting a business, right? Something new, maybe an idea that you have. Now, there is usually a normal process that's a normal evolution process that something should go through. When you find yourself being under pressure to want to jump this place, maybe from point A to point Z, you know that I'm no longer building with depth. That pressure, I am trying to be fast, or I'm trying to, I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. So one of the pointers that helps you to know that I don't yourself in a position where you are now under pressure to perform, under pressure to do, or to get to a certain level. So there's a level where you know that okay, this thing is growing, in a way, or it's going in a particular way, and I'm just going to follow the process and all of those things. And I'm not under pressure to get this thing to where it's not supposed to get to, because if you it's a very good thing, and a lot of times we pray for it that, oh God, I want it to boom. And it's good when something goes boom, but the danger of it is that if you've not really developed depth and it goes boom, when the things that happen to life happens to that thing, it will shake it off and it will fizzle away. So how you know building with depth is that you know that if this thing gets to a particular level, it can withstand the test of time. It can withstand oppositions throws at it, and it will not be shaken. Right? Okay, thank you. I'm glad that you understand. Thank you so much for your question. And I'm really grateful. I hope that you got value. I really look forward to your feedback and your testimonials from tonight. God bless you. See you guys next month by God's grace. I love you so much, and I'm always rooting for you. Thank you guys. Good night. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you, Rita. Thank you so much, Rhoda. Thank you to everybody that joined this call. I look forward to your feedback. And see you next month.